Tale 1, The Shadow of the Old Farmhouse. In 2016, my family relocated to my grandparents' sprawling rural property, a sturdy home they'd crafted in the early 1990s, nestled on 5 acres just beyond a sleepy southern town. Vast woodlands and golden fields encircled us, with a sluggish river tracing our southern boundary. Our land kissed the edge of a peculiar, jagged plot where a crumbling farmhouse stood, its weathered frame seeming to sag into the earth. Built in the 1920s, it had been haphazardly expanded, with mismatched additions jutting out like a patchwork quilt sewn by unsteady hands. Its siding was faded, perpetually damp-looking, even under a blazing sun. The yard was a chaos of overgrown shrubs, snarled vines, cracked bird baths, and headless garden statues. Plastic bags danced in the wind, snagged on bare branches, and a rusted tractor sat abandoned mid-field, swallowed by tall grass. This eerie estate housed 2 aging sisters, Clara and Esther, alongside 3 young children, Clara's grandchildren and their mother, Marion. Clara, soft-spoken, spent her days in a worn wicker chair on the porch, her gaze lost in the swaying pines. Esther, though spry, moved with a wince, her joints betraying her age. The kids included Jonah, a boy my age, and 2 younger girls, Leela and Nora, who were my sister's age. Jonah was peculiar, always trailing me at school despite my reluctance. He'd appear uninvited at our house, slipping into our backyard to splash in the pond or raiding our pantry for snacks without a word. His fixation on fantasy novels was intense. He'd mutter cryptic phrases and scowl when I didn't respond. Once, he brandished a rusty rake, chasing me through the orchard, cackling wildly. Another time, on a rickety bridge over the nearby stream, he shoved me, his grin too sharp for a prank. Leela and Nora were ghostly, their clothes perpetually stained, their speech muddled and halting as if no one had taught them to talk. They flinched at loud noises and always seemed ravenous. Their father was absent, tangled in legal troubles, leaving Marion as the sole parent. I met her one afternoon while she struggled with a leaking valve near our fence. She was strikingly tall, with sleek raven hair and oversized, outdated glasses, her appearance polished in a way that clashed with her chaotic household. She flashed a warm smile, asking for my help with the valve, which turned effortlessly. She laughed, calling me a hero, and I swelled with pride. Then she said, "You've got an inner vision, don't you?" Confused, I asked what she meant. "A soul's lens," she replied, "to glimpse what's true." Before I could explain further, she beckoned me to follow her. Her home was an assault of stench, spoiled meat, damp rot, and something fouler. Trash spilled across the floors, with moldy dishes and tattered clothes strewn about. But Marion's bedroom was a sanctuary, immaculate with velvet drapes, polished shelves lined with glass figurines, and a faint rosewater scent. She invited me to sit on a plush chair and retrieved a lacquered box, revealing a candle, a quartz stone, and a heavy book adorned with a star-shaped symbol. My heart sank. My church upbringing screamed danger. That symbol was etched everywhere. On her mirror, her jewelry case, even faintly scratched into the floorboards. I mumbled an excuse about chores and fled. In 2019, Esther suffered a fatal stroke in their living room, collapsing before the children. At her memorial in a crumbling chapel, the family was stoic, save for a stranger weeping loudly, ignored by all. That year, Jonah vanished after reportedly attacking one of the girls. Rumors swirled of a mental health facility. My parents forbade us from approaching that family, their faces grim with unspoken fears. By 2020, Marion and the girls had left, abandoning Clara in the decaying house. She died alone that year. The property was sold at auction to my former teacher, Mrs. Carter, who gutted most of it but preserved the 1920s core where Marion's room had been. During a visit, the renovated space gleamed, yet standing in her old bedroom, I felt a chill, as if the floorboards whispered secrets. I avoided the place until 2024, when I house sat for Mrs. Carter. The first nights were calm, But on the final evening, their terrier, Biscuit, growled at the staircase. A heavy thud echoed from above, then another. I grabbed the dog and bolted, locking the door behind me, certain something had trailed me home. Now in 2025, a classmate mentioned spotting Marion at a local market, preaching for a group called Light Seekers, based in a remote trailer park. Posters for their gatherings have appeared around town, but I steer clear. Marion's neglect, her dark rituals, and the house's lingering presence convince me she's dangerous. I still dream of her and Jonah, silent figures at my bedside, their eyes boring into me. That house, despite its fresh paint, holds on to its past, and I fear it always will. Tale 2, the friend who turned foe. I'm Lucas, a high schooler from Ohio, where I navigated teenage life with a solid group of friends. We'd hit the rec center to shoot hoops or lift weights, bonding over shared laughs. During my sophomore year, as summer loomed, I was pumped for driving lessons and a part-time gig at a local shop. Among my buddies was Dylan, a freshman I'd known for a year. We'd chill weekly, and I once took him to a Cleveland Cavaliers game, his eyes lighting up courtside. But as my schedule filled, Dylan's demeanor shifted. He'd sulk when I was unavailable, his temper flaring over small slights. One day, after I said I was busy with yard work, he unfriended me on social media. I messaged him, puzzled, and he accused me of dodging him. I'll admit, his clinginess had started to grate, and I'd occasionally fib about plans to avoid him. One evening after sunset, Dylan showed up at my condo unannounced. I opened the door, startled, and asked why he hadn't called. He just stared, his expression cold, before turning away. Unnerved, I hid my location on social apps. A month later, his mood swings persisted, and a friend, Ethan, shared chilling news. Ethan knew Dylan's ex, who revealed Dylan had threatened her with a blade and assaulted her. My stomach churned. I cut all contact, blocking him everywhere. He bombarded me with texts, demanding answers, but I brushed him off, claiming I needed space. That night, alone while my parents dined out, a knock startled me. Peering through the peephole, I saw no one. I cracked the door, empty hallway. Later, glancing out my window, I caught a glint in the shadows. Dylan stood there, clutching a knife, his silhouette stark against the dim streetlight. I shouted for him to leave, threatening to call the cops. He vanished before they arrived, but I gave them his description. I haven't heard from him since, though I suspect he's in trouble with the law. That night haunts me, a brush with someone whose rage could have turned deadly. Cutting ties saved me from becoming his next target. Tale 3, the Unseen Watcher. In fall 2022, I planned a first date with Sophie, a girl I'd met online. We bonded over our love for spooky films, so when Smile hit theaters, we chose a late Thursday showing at a rundown cinema on the town's edge. I picked her up at 9:00 p.m. and she was warm but reserved, chatting eagerly about classic horror as we drove. The theater was a ghost town, flickering signs, deserted lobby, and a lone cashier. He smirked when I asked about the crowd, saying we'd have the place to ourselves. Thrilled, we settled into Theater 4, picking prime seats near the center. The room was chilly, and I lent Sophie my jacket, joking about the eerie vibe. As the previews ended and the lights dimmed, a figure slipped in. Without pausing, he climbed the stairs and sat directly behind us, ignoring the sea of empty seats. Sophie shot me a confused look, and I muttered a quip, but unease settled in. I felt his gaze like a weight on my neck. Glancing back, I caught him staring not at the screen, but at us. Middle-aged, gaunt in a faded hoodie, his eyes were unblinking, his face blank yet focused. I whispered to Sophie, who nodded tense. We tried to focus, but his presence was suffocating. After 15 minutes, I stole another look, same stare, unwavering. Then I felt it, a slow, deliberate breath on my neck. I whipped around, his face inches from my seat. Back off, I snapped. He eased back silent. I told Sophie we should move, and we relocated to the front corner, the screen now at an awkward angle. Still, I kept checking. He never stopped watching. Halfway through, footsteps echoed. He descended, pausing a few rows up. We froze, hearts pounding. After an agonizing pause, he returned to his seat. I whispered, "Let's go." We slipped out, glancing back through the theater's glass door. He stood in the aisle, staring. At the lobby, we told the cashier, who frowned. "Him again," he said. Apparently, this man frequented late shows, never buying concessions, unsettling others. Management can't act unless he breaks a rule, he explained. Sophie, shaken, asked for an escort to my car, which a staffer provided. Driving home, I obsessed over whether he'd noted my plates or tailed us. Sophie and I texted afterward, but the trauma killed any spark. I haven't returned to that theater, though I wonder how many others he scared. My brother, a deputy, called the theater's excuse nonsense. They could ban him. That night left me wary, a reminder that danger can lurk in the mundane.